Yep, that was my alarm to let me know to start this so that you guys have a chance to relax a little bit before we get started. See you in a few. Hi everybody, welcome to StashBlaster Quilts. I'm Maria Spatelnik, and I'm here to help you make more quilts in less time with less stress. Today is Thursday. Normally we do this on the first and third Wednesday of the month, but I spent a couple of hours last night when I was halfway between Detroit and Virginia trying to get my laptop to do this, and it said, nope, can't make me. So I'm a day late. I'm also $1 short because I spent a bunch of time in Detroit at a conference. However, I'm going to be putting in a lot of effort over the next week trying to figure out what went wrong so that on some of these other times that I'm scheduled, but I'm going to be at conferences, that I'll still be able to do this. So I apologize for it being late. You may be getting some notices that there's new product, new material that's going to be up in the next week or so, but that's probably us testing. So don't be surprised if when you go to click on it, it's gone or there's not really much there. I really want to get this thing to work so that I don't have to be swearing at my computer again next time. So not much has happened around here in terms of sewing because, as you know, if you watched the last episode, my machine is in the shop being cleaned and fixed. So I couldn't do anything last week. Well, 2 weeks ago, and then last week I was at the convention. So there we are. I apologize for that. So today's going to be a short day, but I thought I'd share with you some stuff from convention. I had a table as well as gave some speeches. So here's my little table sign. So I was at CIT, which is Crisis Intervention Teams International, and the International Conference. Sorry. So I met a guy from Australia, I met a bunch of people from Canada, so we had a great time. And Scott sat at the table selling my books and telling people about the training programs and the new book that's coming out. So the book. I had hoped to have the book ready to take with us on the trip, but because of a family emergency with the designer of the cover, it didn't get done in time because you have to tell them how many pages there are so they know how big to make the binding on the book. Otherwise, your front cover will be too small because they'll have to take up the space in the binding. So because that got delayed and everything else, we did not have the book. So that was kind of sad. But we had signage that said it's coming out and things like that. So he sat there for 2.5 straight days. So more power to him. I attended classes. I also taught 2 classes. I taught Hoarding 1 and Hoarding 2, and they went really well. Last year, I had a room, same 2 classes. I had a room that sat about 80 people, and people were all along the back wall, down the sides, right up next to the screen, sitting on the floor, sitting in the aisle. It was really, really tight. The room started out cold, and it was steaming by the end, and we did the classes back to back. So I said to the person who was in charge, I said, you know what, I'd love to come back and do this again next year, but is there any way I can have a bigger room? So this year, they gave me one of the biggest rooms. Actually, they gave me 2 of the biggest rooms. That's at 360 people. And the first class, all the seats were full, and there were people around the back. It wasn't quite as bad. You know, nobody had to sit on the floor, but I was thrilled to have filled the room. The Hoarding 2 was a little bit smaller. It was probably 80% of the room, but still it justified the room size. So I felt pretty good about that. I was happy. And still there were people that came up to the table and said because of conflicts between other classes that they wanted to take, they couldn't take mine. But that's okay. I was very happy with how it came out. So since I was there, I got my third CIT pin. This is 2023. And this is 4 years in a row I've done this. The 2020 was virtual, so I didn't get a pin for that one. But I have 2021, 22, and now 23, so that feels pretty good. And then this is my CPO pin. So next year there'll be a 4th CIT pin, because I'm pretty sure they'll have me back given how many people were in the class. So that'll be very cool. So we did that. A fun thing that they did is they gave out these cards. And you can see Conquer the Clutters right here. That's my main company. And all the attendees got the cards. And then they would take them from table to table. And you would stamp with a unique stamp for your table. And they gave us options. And so Scott took a mustache one, and I took a dolphin. So I thought that'd be kind of cool. And while they were walking away, a couple of the guys were saying to each other, and these are the guys that are in charge, were like, yeah, nobody wants the poop emoji. And I was like 20 feet away when I yelled out, I'll take the poop! And so, so they laughed and they came back. And both, basically Scott and I both used the poop emoji on all of the cards, because it is so appropriate when you're talking about hoarding to have a poop emoji, representing your company. It went over amazingly well. People thought it was hysterical. They thought it was fun. So we're very glad we did that. And they let us keep the stamp. So if they do this again next year and they don't have a poop emoji stamp, we'll have one of our own that we can bring. So that was a lot of fun. So if you got at least 20 stamps, then you could enter your card for a drawing for some stuff, including a free registration. As usual, I did not win anything, but that's okay. We still had a good time with that. And then, so on Monday, I taught Hoarding 1. On Tuesday, I taught Hoarding 2. And on Wednesday, I taught Hoarding... I didn't teach, sorry. Wednesday was a short day, so we changed our plans and left early. But Tuesday night, they had a patch and pin and coin exchange. So this is a big thing with law enforcement. Apparently, according to the story... World War II, I think. Could have been Korea or one of the other kind of conflicts, but I think it was World War II. And one of the U.S. Soldiers got caught behind the lines in France. And he finally worked himself to where there were Americans, but they didn't believe that he was an American. They thought he was a spy. And so they arrested him and they roughed him up a little bit. And so they were emptying his pockets. Now, his unit had decided to make a coin for the unit that was about that big. And one of the people that was there saw the coin and said, I recognize that coin. And that's an American coin. And so they figured out that he really was who he said he was, and he got reunited with his unit and everything else. So now it's a thing to make these coins called challenge coins. And when you walk up to someone in a bar or something, you can say, I got a coin. You got one? And if they don't, they have to buy the drinks. So this became a big thing for everybody to have challenge coins. And so that's what they call them. So they did this exchange. Well, I knew that a lot of guys like to trade patches. And because I'm a volunteer with the police, I went to the quartermaster and I got a boatload of patches that had been, on damaged uniforms and some of them were in kind of rough shape. And I cleaned them up and I made repairs and things like that. So I had a bunch of these. And so I had them just to give away because I figured, let people just have them. I don't need anything else. Well, people insisted on making it a trade. So we wound up with some really cool stuff. So starting with patches, there was one from the Federal Reserve. He was going to come back with a bag of money because they have bags of shredded cash. But he ran out, so we didn't get one of those. But I got a whole bunch of them from Bucks County. This is from Arizona, and one from Nashville. One from Somerville. I'm not even sure what state that's in. It's just Somerville Police. Oh, that's South Carolina. Sorry. Lynchburg, Virginia, which of course I'm familiar with since my stepmom lives there. Louisiana. And Institutional Operations Division. I have no idea what that is, but it sure sounds like I belong there. I should be institutionalized. So that was kind of cool. So those were the patches. We wound up with multiples of the Ohio CIT challenge coin. And on the back it has the state with the flag on there. We have Behavioral Health Response had their own coin, which is very cool. And on the back, I really like this here. And on each of the colors, it says something else. So it says, in this family, no one fights alone. And so it's got EMS, dispatch, corrections, security, and a couple of different ones on here that are fire. Because in CIT, so I forgot to say this because some of you won't know what this is. Probably most of you don't know what this is. The whole idea behind CIT is to train officers how to work with the mentally ill and to get them into the right services instead of just hauling everybody to jail. The idea is to circumvent taking people to jail for that kind of a problem. If they're having a schizophrenic break, if there's something else going on, so that they get the real care that they need. They're not just housed in a prison. So the fact that this has the various different departments on it makes me feel pretty good because there's all kinds of different people that go to the conference. And so that felt pretty good. In fact, on NBC tonight, we were watching a thing where they were talking about the Detroit Police Department. I wish I had been on before conference because I had a million more questions. But they have a program where they'll send officers, but they also send an unarmed mental health professional on that kind of a call. There are 15 people on the team right now. And they've responded to like over, I think they said, like 1,700 calls or even more. I forget how many calls. It was a huge amount. It was over 1,000. It may have even been as many as 8,000. Calls from mental health services when they had that person there. And then if they have any downtime, they'll often check in with people that they've helped before to make sure that they're still doing okay and make sure they have all the services that they need. So CIT is an amazing thing. This Detroit thing sounds amazing. I'm going to get more information on that, and we're going to go from there. But yeah, I was really excited to see that. Anyway, back to this. I have the Pine Belt CIT, and so it says Stop the Stigma, Making a Difference and Stronger Together, which is very cool. Any of you that live near me, if you ever want to see these, I'd be happy to bring them over for you to see. Hillsborough County, I'm not sure what state this is. Office of the Sheriff. But apparently the name on this coin is the prior sheriff. And so they had a bunch of these that they could get for free, and so she was just like, I'm going to hand them out because they're really cool. So so that's how we got this one. And then people had pins, you know, the kind with the things that go through the shirt. And so this is from Arizona, one from Indiana, one from Georgia, and one from Central Florida. And then I found these two stickers for kids. This says Utah State Correction Junior Officer. And then this is the one I just had to laugh. This is the Adult Probation and Parole State of Utah Junior Agent. So it's like, okay, your 5-year-old is going to wear this and say, you know, you're in violation of parole. So I just thought that was hysterical. But anyway, that's some of the swag that we got through that exchange, which was, we hadn't expected to get anything. We were just giving these patches away. Amusingly, the Alcohol Bureau went first, and we still have some crossing guards because I took what I could get. So that was kind of fun. There's at least one chief of police out there who I know is going to be getting a crossing guard patch because the person who got it said, well, he's about to retire, so I'm going to give it to him as, you know, a sign for his future job. So that ought to be kind of fun. But, you know, we got some sticky pads and pens and that kind of stuff. And, of course, everybody gets one of these cool, cute little bags. To which I had attached, I don't have it attached anymore, some bobbin holders, the clamp kind, so that I could differentiate my bag from other people's. And these are the same bags that we had last year, so now I have 3 of these. One from when I did it last year, and then one from Scott and me from this year. So that's pretty cool. So I'll have these for next time. But anyway, all in all, we had a great time. We met some amazing people. I'm hoping that some of them will book me to come out and do some trainings for them so that I can see some more of the country and see what that's like. And then if that happens, then especially for driving, then I might try to see if I can get some quilt shops around those areas so that I get to get my fix. And all in all, it went well. Hopefully it will continue to work on itself and get even better. Hopefully the book will be able to be ordered next week. So that is super cool because I leave next Sunday, I think it's next Sunday. Actually, I might as well look while I'm here. Let me just double check real quick, because I'm pretty sure it's Sunday, that I leave to go to Boston. And I'm flying out. So, yep, next Sunday the 27th. And so hopefully I will have the new book available to at least be shipped there, even if not with me. Because that would be really nice to have. Actually, no, they would need to get shipped here. Sorry, because I don't have a table at this next one, which is why I'm flying. But I would definitely have it for other events, and that would be very cool. So that's all that's gone on for the last couple of weeks. When I was looking at the calendar, and I'm going to double check this again, because we were supposed to not get in until tomorrow. Yesterday, the last thing with conference ended at 1 o'clock. And so we said, you know what? We're going to leave the hotel early. And we had this set up. We decided to do this just before we got there. And so we came partway home yesterday, and then we finished the drive today. Originally, I had planned on driving today and tomorrow. So we're actually home a day early, which is wonderful, because I have basically a week to get ready for Boston. And there's a lot to do that we missed while we were gone. So that's going to be wonderful to have that time. But since I only have that week, I'm really hoping everything works, and having the extra day is a huge benefit. So I can breathe a little bit easier in getting ready for Boston. But 2 weeks from today is actually the 30th. I mean, 2 weeks from yesterday is the 30th of the month. So it will be 3 weeks from yesterday that we're going to have our next... is it right? Yes. 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks from yesterday that we're going to meet again. And I will be here for that, because I'll have just gotten back from Boston, and I should be here. If I'm not, I'll have at least figured out how to do this by then. So it's, like I said, it's kind of crazy. But one way or another, I'm going to try to get that figured out. If any time on the first or third Wednesday of the month I'm not here, please understand it's either I'm deathly ill, which is not likely to be the case, or I'm having tech issues, which is very common. So in that case, I will get to you as quickly as I can afterwards. I'll fill you in on anything you missed. But in general, we should be good to go. One thing I forgot to do, so let me just double check here. I have not posted the next round for the mystery quilt. So let me just double check. I think it's round 13. But let me see here. I apologize for doing this on the fly like this. Okay, so round 12 was making your quilt sandwich. Actually, I can show you mine. So because my machine is gone, all this stuff is piled up right here. And again, because I wasn't here, I haven't had a chance to put things away. This is the fish and feathers quilt, so that gets pushed aside. Okay. So here is mine all basted. Okay. Because of the batting that I'm using, hold on, let me get so I can see what it is that I'm doing. This was close enough, and so when I'm ready to quilt it, I'm going to be kind of echoing the points on here. At least that's my plan right now. First, I'm going to take like a page protector and put it on and draw on with markers and see if I like it. But that's my current plan. Of course, like I said, I haven't been here, so I haven't been able to work on that at all. So round 12 was doing the basting. So guess what round 13 is? Quilt it! So we're actually going to have 3 weeks. So go ahead and quilt it, and then that's round 13, and there's only one more. I'm sure you can guess what that's going to be, and that's going to be to bind it. So you basically know the next 2 steps. I don't have them posted. I don't know when I'm going to have them posted. For the quilting one, I would prefer to have actually quilted this and then show you what I did. So rounds 13 and 14 may not get posted for a while. But that is the next step, so please feel free to go ahead and get to it. Hopefully there aren't too many questions. If there are, please feel free to write to me. The email address is not on my wall because my design wall is over there. So please write it down if you don't have it already, and that is mail@StashBlasterQuilts.com. I do respond to emails. If you have a question I think is of general interest, then I try to answer it here so that other people can see what it is. If it's something where you have, maybe it's a more personal question that I don't think is appropriate for here, then I'll answer that individually. You're welcome to ask me questions about organizing in general or specifically for sewing rooms. I did not have a tip for today. We normally start with a tip, but because of rushing and driving and everything else, I barely have a brain cell, much less the ability to find my list of tips that I was going to give. So please forgive, and I will get back in the groove of things, I'm sure, in October, if not before. Because between now and the end of September, I'm doing a lot of traveling, and it's draining on the brain cells. So anyway, like I said, today's going to be a short day. I hope you had a good time. If you happen to like this kind of crazy stuff, please like, subscribe. If you hit the bell, it will let you know when I have put up a new video. Most of them are going to be in the live section. And so that way you would have gotten a notice about 15 minutes before we started today, so you could get something to drink and then be ready to start at 7 o'clock. I normally go from 7 to 8, and today just happens to be a short one. So have a great 3 weeks, everybody, and I will see you at the beginning of September, one way or another. Okay? Thanks. Bye-bye.